Good afternoon, Waco Rotary. Thank you for joining us virtually today for an annual tradition to hear from the Baylor football coach. We know it's a different format, but we're really grateful for him joining us today and for John Morris to come moderate that as well. We are going to have a little bit different schedule. We are going to have the program. We know Coach has to leave at 12:40, so we're going to start the program the way we traditionally do, with a national anthem, Pledge of Allegiance, and an invocation. And then we're going to go straight into our program, and we're going to wrap up after Coach has to leave with some questions and answers if there are any that John can answer. And then we're going to give you some updates about the Rotary Foundation and things that are happening with Rotary. So bear with us as we had to switch our order and we'll have to maneuver within the PowerPoint presentation. But we are really glad to see all of those of you who joined us today. It's nice to see your faces. Thanks for logging on and for joining us. We're going to have a rendition of the national anthem. We actually picked a version of it that was performed at a Super Bowl many years ago that we thought would be a really inspiring performance, and it would remind us that how unifying football is and how much we really enjoy it when we're able to participate together. And we hope it inspires you as well. After the Star Spangled Banner, I will lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance. You're welcome to say along or just follow along with me. Then we'll have the prayer and we'll go straight into our presentation after that. So we'll ready if you'll follow along. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, Rotarian Car Dupuis will lead us in our invocation.
Please pray with me. Dear Lord, we are thankful for this day that you have given us, for its blessings, its opportunities, its challenges. May we appreciate and use each day that comes to us. We pray for strength and guidance for each day as it comes, for each day's duties, for each day's problems. May we be challenged to give our best always, and may we be assured of your presence with us. Amen.
Thank you, Car. We're now going to be moving to next set of the agenda. So Tyler's going to have to actually go to that section of the PowerPoint presentation. And so I'll introduce to you next the chair of the day, Russell Livesay, who's going to introduce our program. As a reminder, we are encouraging business networking as a part of Rotary this year. And since we can't live in person, we can't meet, we are going to be highlighting different Rotarians' businesses. And we do want to highlight the business of the chair of the day. So here's Russell's photo. You're going to see him in just a few moments, but you can see Russell. We actually know that Russell is at least a third-generation Rotarian, and he's trying to conform whether or not he is a fourth-generation Rotarian. You are four generations, so you may have the longest lineage of any Rotarian in the club. But you can see from the slide Russell's background. He's involved in a number of civic organizations. You can see he's got what his background is, and I think it's interesting for us to just think about who we are as Rotarians and what we do in the community. And his company is Disciplined Investors that he works for. And so the next slide, we actually have a profile of his business. And we will be doing this for different people in the club. We'll be informing people about what their business is. And so for the next slide, I know Tyler is trying to go to the next slide here, so we're having a little bit of a delay. We have Discipline Investors. So you can see a business which has been around for almost 20 years that provides help with financial goals and needs for their clients. So we just wanted to do that. We'll be doing that a lot this year with different Rotarians. We'll be highlighting their businesses. And so we wanted to just share that about Russell. And Russell, I will turn it over to you to introduce our program.
Okay, thank you. And so we are going to introduce our two distinguished guests, and I appreciate you guys. Coach has a hard stop at 12:40, so we're going to just try to short intros here and get to the good stuff. So first, I'll introduce John Morris. JMO, as all of us Baylor fans know him, he was recognized as the National Sports Media Association 2019 Texas Co-Sportscaster of the Year. So in winning the award, he became the first Texas Sportscaster of the Year from outside of the state's 4 largest markets, and just the second sportscaster to win the award while serving at university. As the voice of the Bears, JMO, a 1980 Baylor grad, enters his 26th season as the signature voice of Baylor athletics. This is his 34th season overall, including 8 years working with the legendary Frank Fallon. Entering the 2020 season, JMO has broadcast 381 consecutive Baylor football games. That's a lot. John and Terry have 3 grown children, Megan, Maddie, MJ, and I'm pleased to welcome John as our host today. Secondly, introduce Coach, a 2020 national champion and 24-year coaching veteran and much sought after, Dave Aranda, was named the 28th head coach in Baylor football history on January 16, 2020. Aranda came to Waco after 4 seasons as associate head coach and defensive coordinator at LSU, including a 2020 national championship and 2019 SEC championship. Widely considered one of the top defensive minds in all of football, Aranda has a track record of leading some of the top defenses in the country. In 6 seasons as defensive coordinator at a Power 5 conference school, Aranda's defenses were ranked in the top 12 nationally in total yards 5 times. His defenses also ranked among the top 10 in scoring 4 times in 7 years. Prior to joining LSU, Aranda served as defensive coordinator at Wisconsin. Aranda also had stints as defensive coordinator at Utah State, Hawaii, Delta State, and his alma mater, California Lutheran. He spent 5 seasons in the state of Texas at Houston and Texas Tech. Aranda and his wife, Dion, have 2 daughters, Jalen and Jordan, and a son, Ronan. It is my pleasure to welcome both Coach and John to Waco Rotary. Thank you so much.
All right, Russell, thanks very much. Appreciate it. It's great to be with the Rotarians. And Ashley, you said it. This is a long-standing tradition. I don't know how far it goes back, but you always have the Baylor head football coach on right about this time of year every year. And it's an honor to have Coach Dave Aranda on today. Coach, welcome to you. It's a great group at Waco Rotary. And how are things going today?
Oh, it's going great, guys. Thanks so much for having me. Excited to be with you guys. Wish you could be in person, but get used to these Zoom meetings. And thank you guys for making some time.
Yeah, you've kind of, are you zoomed out? Have you done so many that you're ready to get to interpersonal meetings?
No, this is better than not having anything at all. But you do miss the one-on-one contact and just the reading the body language and just get with people, giving people hugs, all that you miss. So maybe one of these days.
Yeah, hopefully very soon. Russell gave, as part of your introduction, talked about your family. I think people here interested would like to know more about your family, your wife, Dion, and Jalen and Jordan, and your son, Ronan. Tell us about them a little bit, and how has the transition been, or how's it going, moving from Baton Rouge to Waco?
No, it's great. Yeah. So my wife, Dion, I met when we were in high school. And so I was a linebacker for our high school team at Redlands High School in Redlands, California. And she was a cheerleader. And, my nickname back in high school was Fence Post, because I just stand there. and she was the exact opposite from that. And so just very, it's still the same. Just very outgoing, very talkative, people around, a lot of things happening at once. And so there's always kind of a whirlwind around her, and that's still to this day. And so the opposites attract there for sure. And she's been obviously with me through all the moves. There was one move with Coach Roberts, who's on our staff now. We were in Delta State in Cleveland, Mississippi, which we had never really left outside of Lubbock, Texas, California at that point. And so that was a big change. And she did great with that. And I think the next move after that was Hawaii. And so, I was on the top of the mountain as a husband, after that Hawaii move. And so we've been together through all of it. She's my best friend. My oldest daughter is Jalen, and she's 15. She's a volleyball player. She's into theater, singing, and dancing. And she's a little bit like me, maybe a little bit introverted, but very picks up things, very smart, has great perspective. You sit down, you talk to Jalen, you'll get really, really deep insight on stuff. And so I always appreciate the time that I've got that's free to spend time with her, because we can get into stuff, and I appreciate those talks. And then my middle girl is Jordan, and Jordan's a soccer player. Jordan's a little bit more like Dion, very talkative. Friends are always around. Got to get her off her phone. She's playing soccer now here in Waco. Then my son is Ronan, and Ronan turned 11. And Ronan is, football, baseball, basketball. He plays all sports. Since quarantine, everything happened, we're trying to get him off of video games. And so that really wasn't an issue prior to all of this. And so we're fighting the good fight. We're not winning though. So we'll continue to see what happens. But yeah, they're all transitioning good. I think their school starts on Wednesday, and so we're finalizing that. And they're excited to kind of get going.
Well, that's great. We're appreciative of having y'all here in Waco, and can't wait till they get to know folks around town and vice versa. So we're glad you're here at Baylor. We've got some questions that Rotarians have sent in. Let me get to those. One of them's a very good one, and your answer I've heard before. I know is very good. The question is, tell us about the character of the team. How would you describe the overall sense of team with the limitations from COVID and the new coaching staff? I know character is something, Coach, that's very high on your board.
It's very strong. Yeah. One of the main reasons for coming to Baylor was character. So I see that character drives winning. And so if you have character skills, so we would say there's character two ways. There's moral character skills, so like you in relation to yourself, and then there's character performance skills. And so so performance skills would be, hey, I get up in the morning, I work hard, I sacrifice time, I go that extra mile. And so moral and performance. And so we identify skills that fall in each category, and we develop a daily process of doing the right thing, of treating people the right way, of picking up after yourself after you eat, of leaving the jersey in a better place. And so those things, when you have character that's driven by a process, you get great results. And then I think also you're able to just build a better person. I was and just studying through prior to this, and when there is a chance to be a head coach, and looking at all the different ways to go about it. And so, attracting really strong athletic talent, and whatever it is to get the best players, or it could be, hey, this coach made this record this past year, so we're going to hire him, and he's going to put in this offense because it's the latest thing that's going and no one can stop it. So there's always those I would almost call them obstacles that are in your path. I think as opposed to that, what you look for is people with high character, and people that can pour into people that can model what they say, people that have substance over style. And I think that's what wins in the long run. And I think that's what builds better people. And, better people are going to make Baylor a better football team. And so we're all about that, from the recruiting standpoint to the coaches that we've hired to the team that we're working on right now. So I'm excited about the group of men that we've got. I'm excited about, we're going to talk about character again today, about entering through the narrow path. And I think it's Matthew chapter 7, about not entering through the wide path. And so I think everything we do is highlighted by character.
Wow, that's terrific. Coach, you're talking to a group of business leaders here in Central Texas, here in Waco. One of their questions is, what are ways that we as community leaders can help support the team and or Baylor during these uncertain times?
Yeah, so I think, just support, I think, with in the limited people that we can have at the games. We're hoping that we can get some people to our games. We're hoping it's closing in. I think it's going to be La Tech for that first one on the 12th. We're trying to finalize that, but I think having people at that game would really be a positive thing for our team. To see them work in day out, and to see the sacrifices that they make. Like for example, students are coming on campus at Baylor, and so really, as a football team, we can't hang out with the students as it stands right now. We can't. We have to. A lot of our guys are taking online courses. There may be student function here. There may be a student function there. Maybe it's after hours, and everyone's been a student at some point. We can't hang around them, So right now we're getting tested twice a week. Eventually here, we're going to be tested 3 times a week in COVID-19 tests. And so just the amount of sacrifices that the guys are going through in order to play football, in order to kind of be a team and do what we do. I've got so much appreciation for them. And, coaches are doing the same thing. And so, to have some people support us when it's our chance to go out there and don the green and gold, man, we're excited for that day.
Good. Are you breaking news to the Rotarians here? Are you saying Louisiana Tech is
I'm hopeful. I think we're trying. Yeah, I think that's the case.
Yeah.
We'll see here coming up, but I think it's closing in on that way. I know that, I've got a lot of respect for them, and so it'll be interesting to see, but I think it's trending that way.
Good. What do you think about the way things landed? Big 12 going to play a +1 schedule, so you'll play 9 conference games and then the 1 non-conference game. Do you like that?
I do. Yeah, I think it's the smartest thing because I think it's the safest. And so just the Big 12's done to this point just a great job of being really thoughtful and cautious with their approach. And just, like, for example, what does the locker room look like? What does the press box look like? What does the pregame look like? And just all these things that really you wouldn't put a whole bunch of thought into. You would do what you've always done. And now, in terms of contact, in terms of too many people in a certain space, in terms of spacing out, in terms of keeping things clean, when a bunch of people go through a place, there's a lot that goes into that now. And so having, Big 12 standards and guidelines that we can follow puts everybody at ease. And so I'm appreciative of that. I feel like, there's a lot of great competition. There's teams that are, I think, on the rise. Defenses are getting better and better, and there's still some really, really strong offenses that we have to deal with. So excited about here what's coming up.
That's great. Another question from one of our Rotarians today. Coach, as a first-year head coach here at Baylor, how would you define a successful first season, i.e. team chemistry or effort avoiding injury or win-loss record?
To me, it would be to cultivate a team, a culture where everybody's seen, everybody's heard, and everybody's valued. And they feel that, and they are allowed to be themselves and then be pushed to be an even greater version of themselves. And so I think that starting there, and then, as coaches, we can strive to be better people in the process. Something we talk about is, who do you become as a result of the chase? And so just all the pressures that come with major college football, the wins and losses, the critiques, the praise, the the message boards, the ESPN radio, whatever it is. And so who do you become as a result of all of that? Are you more or less happy? Are you more or less secure? Are you more or less trusting of people? Do you have more or less patience with yourself and with people? And so I think we're striving for growth there and to be the best that we can possibly be. So I think that's the main goal. I think from that kind of process oriented, a lot of positive stuff will happen.
Good. All right, final minute with you, Coach, and final question here. Today's August 17th. You play on September 12th. What's your comfort level right now as far as the team being ready to kick it off on September 12th?
I feel good. Yeah. So I think, today will be our first day in pads. So we'll have shells out today, and then we're aiming for full pads tomorrow, and then we'll have full pads for a Saturday scrimmage. But, we have been through an install, I think maybe 8 times. And you talk about just communication, guys being on the same page. You're talking about if we're not breaking the sideline and running to where the ball is located, it's all 11 running on the field. If that's not happening, there's a Trail Bernard or Charlie Brewer that says we're going to do it again. And so, you feel good about the flow of the team. There's something about being on a team when everyone's thinking the same thing, when everybody's got everybody's back, and you feel like, hey, we're all headed in the right direction. There's a lot of momentum. So you feel that, and so going into these next couple of weeks, it's going to be managing the hitting and the tackling and really kind of the bread and butter of what football is. While at the same time staying healthy. And so I think there's teams that you can see they've already had some injuries. And I think NFL-wise, you can see some of that just because of the lack of conditioning and the lack of whatever else prior to this time. And so I think, we want to have an identity as a tough, hardworking, physical team, but we've got to do it in a real thoughtful and intelligent way, so that we get our guys to the first game.
That's great. Dave, we'll let you go. Appreciate it. And thank you very much for your time today. You're going to enjoy meeting all these people when you get to meet them in person, but thanks for doing the Zoom call today with the Waco Rotary Club.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the time. I look forward to visiting with you guys soon.
Very good. Thanks. Coach Dave Aranda, Baylor's head football coach. September 12th is the season opener. And for you folks who are tuned in, he really might have been breaking news a little bit there. It hadn't been announced who Baylor's first opponent will be, but he said it looks like Louisiana Tech, and that is likely. They were on the original schedule. So it looks like that'll be, wait for the official word on that. And Ashley, we enjoyed the tour down the hallway with you with the Zoom call, but I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Okay, thank you. There was somebody at a Harley that was revving it, and I was trying not to take up all of the bandwidth that we had there, so I appreciate that. All right, thank you so much. We do appreciate hearing from the Baylor football coach during this different time and how we can be supportive fans of Baylor and what they're looking at in the community. So that was great to hear from Coach Aranda and from you, John. We appreciate it. The next part of the agenda, we are going to do a couple of things before the end of the day. We are going to provide a little bit of training in doing Zoom. In the first meeting, we talked about how to chat, and we see that several people have actually started chatting here, and we do encourage more people to do chatting just to interact with people during the meeting. But we also want to encourage people, as a part of the networking, we want to put faces to names as much as possible. And so Tyler Martin, who is managing our Zoom call today, is going to walk you through a very brief training on how to upload a profile picture. Because if you can upload your profile picture, then people can start associating a face with a name, and that might be very helpful to our newer Rotarians who are not as familiar with everyone. So Tyler, I'm going to turn it over to you to do that training.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. we had some great feedback from the last meeting, and one of those was, like Ashley said, was being able to put names with faces and faces with names and sharing that Rotarian fellowship that we have at our meetings. The best way to do that is to put your name on your video and to upload a picture to your profile. And I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. It's a real easy thing to do. If you click on the participants at the bottom of your screen, when you do that, this box will come up and your name will be at the very top. If you will, hover over your name, and when this box pulls up, you can hit more, and then you have a rename and an edit profile picture. You can click the rename, put in whatever name you want to put in, your business name or your name, and then you can also click on the edit profile picture, upload a picture from your computer, and anytime that you're not sharing your video, if you have your video turned off, then your profile picture will show. So it won't just be a black screen, it'll be a picture of you, and we will all be able to see you, see your pretty face, put your name to your picture, and those new Rotarians will be able to learn who you are and will maybe gain a little bit of that Rotarian fellowship back. So if you have any questions on Zoom, if you need help getting into Zoom or setting up Zoom or setting up your profile picture, please feel free to reach out to me after the meeting. Back to you, Ashley.
Thank you, Tyler. So the next part of the agenda, we're just going to very briefly remind everyone about our goals, and then we're going to hear an update about the Rotary Foundation. So the slide that we have for you, we just wanted to remind you, the Board of Directors of Waco Rotary actually had convened in a board retreat in June, and these are the goals that we went through the first meeting. But you can see what we're trying to do. We're going to have live meetings whenever possible. We want a high quality virtual club experience, and that's highlighted today because that's what we were trying to do with different features. So we've been trying to do some plans to make it an engaging experience for you. We can continue to support local youth. We're going to support and promote engagement with the Rotary Foundation and Paul Harris Fellows Program, and we're going to hear just briefly about our interaction with those programs. We're going to revitalize membership recruitment and engagement. Russell Livesay is the chairman of the membership committee, which convened last week, and they're actually setting plans for doing some things with membership. We're going to provide Rotarians the opportunities to engage in small groups. So these committees are a lot of the ways we're going to interact with each other, and we're going to be reporting to you the various groups that are coming together to do work together in smaller formats in the next upcoming meetings. And then we're going to highlight businesses of Rotarians and support networking. And so we're going to try to tell you the ways that we're doing that and hope that you will engage, share information about your business, and learn things about other people's businesses. So before we go into the program about that, I want to thank everyone who gave us feedback after our first meeting. We asked you to give us some feedback, and I just wanted to tell everybody sort of this is basically what we heard, that it was nice to see people's faces. So again, if you can upload that picture, even if you're not Zoom worthy for the day and you just want to have your picture up there, it's helpful for people to see your face. So we do encourage you to upload your picture. The speakers were high quality, but they went just a little bit long. We know that a Zoom format tends to be different than a live format, and so we adjusted our schedule based on that in terms of how long people are going to actually be speaking, and the material wasn't relevant for everyone. And then people said they missed the jokes, the news, and the sports, and so we'll be listening to you in the future and trying to incorporate more of our traditional Rotary meetings in this Zoom format. But know that we're listening to you and working on those things, and we do appreciate everyone participating and letting us know what you think as we try to improve this experience. So next on the agenda, I'm going to turn it over to Kim Patterson, and she's going to talk about the ways that we are involved in service. And so Kim, I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Ashley. And I'm on notice. I will keep it short because we want to keep it short. Thank you for giving me a few minutes to talk about the Rotary Foundation. And first, I think to start on a high note, let's recognize the members of our club who are Rotary Paul Harris Fellows +4 or higher. Now, Paul Harris Fellow is a person that has given $1,000 or more to the Rotary Foundation. So you can see all of these Rotarians are supporting the good work of Rotary in a big way. Please send a thank you to these Rotarians when you see them. Chris DeCluett, who's a +7, Tom Lupfer, who was a +6 as of this morning, but now he is a +7. 3 cheers for Tom. Lee Fisher, who's +5. Stuart Kelly, Val Rispoli, Cecil Dunham, and K. Paul Holt are all up in those upper ranks. So that is a very impressive support of our club. and of Rotary International. We currently have almost 130 members of Waco Rotary who are Paul Harris Fellows, and that's super impressive. Currently, there are 2 matches on the table for existing or new Paul Harris Fellows, so just visit with any of us on the committee. I'll give you our names in just a sec if you're interested in those matches. Now, I've always found Rotary giving to be a little confusing, so we developed the Waco Rotary Fundraising 101 flyer that we sent out, that Catherine sent out with the meeting notice, and it helps you understand kind of what our goals are and what the different funds help support. So our goal this year is for every Rotarian in our club to help with a gift of $100 to support both the Youth Services Fund and Rotary Scholarship Fund, which are local funds, and $100 to the Rotary Foundation. So let's break this down for just a sec. Our dues support only the basic operations of our club. The Youth Services Fund takes care of our Youth Citizenship Scholarship, our student guests, our Rotary Challenge, and RILA Youth Leadership Camp. So a lot of the cool things we're doing are funded by the Youth Services Fund. The Rotary Scholarship Fund provides scholarships for area college juniors and seniors. And then the Rotary Foundation giving comes back to our club by way of district grants, like the wonderful Cameroon Water Project, our literacy project that provided books to WISD students, global grant scholarships, and vocational scholarships. And remember, every dollar given to the Rotary Foundation goes towards your Paul Harris Fellow status. So the wonderful work in the community and world is supported by this additional giving, and we hope you'll consider supporting our goal this year. If you'd like more information about any of these giving options, you can get in touch with Catherine, me, Krista Cluett, Tom Lupfer, Catherine already mentioned. I also want to mention George Springer has joined our committee as of this morning. So we have a great group, all of whom are seasoned Rotary Foundation givers, and they can help explain all of our options. And that's all I've got. Ashley, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Kim. We do appreciate Kim chairing that committee, and for those people who are volunteering to do this. I know it's a challenging time to think about giving during COVID, but I'm very grateful that Waco Rotary has a tradition where we just simply give. The way we serve is we make those contributions to the Rotary Foundation and the Youth Service Fund. We don't have a fundraising dinner that we had to cancel and that we're having to regroup from. We don't have sales of things that are hindered by our lack of ability to interact with each other. All we do is we make our checks out to those funds and they support the work that we do. So that's one of the beneficial things about being here is we will likely not see a decrease in our giving, because this is the way we've always done things, is just by cutting checks to those groups, and then those different funds support the various things that we do. So we appreciate everyone who's a Paul Harris Fellow. We're going to continue to highlight everyone who's a Paul Harris Fellow this year and look for ways to do that and recognize people. But we really appreciate everyone generously giving to Rotary Foundation and our Youth Services Fund. That's really all we have. The next thing we are going to do is the 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do. And there's a slide where I will say it and you can follow along with me. And then we will be adjourned following the Rotary bell at the end of that. So I'll wait for that slide to come up. And please say along with me or to yourself, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And with that, Rotary is adjourned. We thank you for joining us today. We thank all of our speakers and everyone who's volunteering, and we hope you have a great week. We'll be in touch with you. We're going to pick up the pace and have more frequent meetings now that we have the hang of doing the virtual meeting, and we will be in touch with you soon. We are planning to have the Baylor basketball coaches give us a similar update, and we'll let you know about future program plans soon. So with that, Rotary is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Great job, Ashley.
Thanks. Great, Tyler. That was fantastic. Thank you.